All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about base running today. We're hoping that by explaining the high school baseball rules, it'll provide you guys with a better understanding of what you can and can't do, and hopefully provide you some information that hopefully will come to almost be an instinctive reaction once we hit the games to help you become the best players that you can be, which in turn will help us become the best team we can be, because the team can't improve unless our individual players improve. Okay. So I'm going to start with just your basic high school rules of base running, okay? Excuse me. We'll start with when you slide into base, your lead foot has to be below the defender's knee. If you slide in the base with a high front foot, it's going to be interference, okay? And you'll be called out. There's a good chance if you weren't the batter on the play, if you're a lead base runner, there's a good chance the batter runner will be called out too. Sometimes we take actions of base runners with good intentions, but ends up breaking a rule. For example, you want to break up a double play, so you go sliding hard into second base. If your momentum takes you past the bag, even if you're still in a sliding position, or if you kind of roll and you make contact with the defender who is involved with the play, you'll be called out. So your slide has got to stop at the base, and you can't slide past the base and make contact with the defensive player. Otherwise, you'll be out, and more than likely, the batter runner will be out too. When you slide, one butt cheek must be on the ground. You can't jump into the base. This is a safety issue, probably trying to prevent injuries, and it's an aggressive slide that could hurt a defensive player. That's why that rule's in the book. So sometimes in an attempt to not slide past the base, you want to slide hard in the base, we'll see runners who slide and pop up, do a pop-up slide. And this is fine as long as there's no play being made on you. But if you pop up and interfere with the defensive player, you'll be called out. I think I'm going to skip to this one here. You can jump over a defender as long as the defender is lying on the ground, but you can never dive. Okay, this is a safety rule too. So you can't just jump over any defender. If the defender's dove for a ball and is laying on the ground and you come to him, you can jump over him, but you cannot dive over him. Okay, so this part here, the slide. The slide has to be within 3 feet of the baseline. Okay, so the baseline is a direct line from you to the base once you start running for the base after the defense has started to make a play on you. So let me show you kind of what a baseline looks like. So if this is our diamond, okay, this is our diamond. All right, a lot of people think that your baseline is just a straight line from base to base. Okay, and that could be your baseline if that's where you start on the base. And that's when the defense makes a play on you, and that's the position you're in to achieve the next base. However, most of the time that's not what happens. Okay, so what your baseline is, it's where you are when the defense starts to make a play on you, and then you've got a straight line from there to the base. So let's just take a typical double. We hit a double to left center field. We get out here, and for some reason we make a fairly wide turn. Okay, make a wide turn. All right, at this point, the center fielder starts throwing the ball into second base. So wherever the base runner is, when the center fielder starts to throw the ball, that is his baseline. So now that's where his baseline starts, because they've attempted to make a play on him. And then the base runner's got 3 feet either direction to run. Okay, so that's basically an arm's length. So that's what your baseline is. It's where you are when the defense starts to make a play on you. From that point, a direct line to the base. All right. Which takes us to our next point, which is what happens when we're in a rundown as a base runner. All right. Well, number one, we don't want to make an out. That's do all you can in your power not to make an out. So to help you not make an out, what you want to do is look to make contact with the defensive player. And if you do, you're awarded the lead base. So let's take a look at that. We've got our diamond again, right? Our diamond. That's second. That's pitcher man. That's first. All right. So if we're in a rundown, if the runner is in a rundown between first and second, and he makes contact with a defensive player, even if he's going back to first, the rules state that he will be awarded second base. All right. Otherwise, there's really no penalty for the defense for doing something illegal. So if you're in a rundown, there's obstruction on the fielder, you'll be awarded the lead base, which is good to know. So how do we look to make contact with a defensive player? Well, oftentimes it's a good idea to do that after the ball's thrown, after the defense lets go of the ball, because even our players do it. It's a natural tendency to cross the baseline after you make a throw. So let's go back to a quick drawing here. Let's say we've got a guy in a rundown between second and third. Okay. Here's the runner. Here's the defensive player at second, defensive player at third. Oftentimes, after the defensive player releases the ball, for some reason, they know they're supposed to follow their throw because they can get back in the rundown. But their natural tendency oftentimes is to kind of cross the baseline and get to the end of the line that way. If they do that, once you hear his teammate yell ball or now or whatever teams use, turn quickly and try to make contact with the defensive player. All right. Or if you're, I would say if you're 80% to the base and they haven't thrown the ball yet, just try and get to the base anyways. So you can either try and get the lead base or try and get the base you're going to if you're almost there. Or when you hear the word now or ball, turn quickly and try to make contact. If you do, you'll always be awarded the lead base. Okay, you always be awarded the lead base. And which takes us into, so when the defense makes contact with you, or when an offensive player impedes the defensive player, obstructions when the defense impedes the offense, interference when the offense impedes the defense. We'll discuss that at another time. That's what's actually happening in a rundown when the base runner makes contact with a defensive player. Okay. The last one is placement of runners as a base runner. And this hopefully will encourage you to run hard. 80% of the time you get 2 bases from time of the pitch. And we know, well, we may not know, but I'll define time of the pitch for you. It's whenever the pitcher starts his pitching motion. So out of the windup, it'd be when the right-handed pitcher steps back with his left foot. Out of the stretch, it would be when he lifts his front foot or moves his shoulder, or whatever body part he moves first to commit himself to pitching. So the pitcher moves a body part to commit himself to pitching. Whoever the runners are at that time, it's 2 bases. So let's take a look. And then one of your most basic plays here, okay? Whoops. Okay, here's our diamond, catcher, pitcher, first, second, third. All right, so if we have a batter up the box, we have a runner on first. Okay, the pitch out of the stretch. When the pitcher lifts his front foot, when he moves that first body part right in here, the runner hasn't touched second base yet, so he's still at first base. The batter's in the box. Let's say the batter hits a ball that bounces over the fence, okay? Hits a ball that hits and goes over the fence in left center. So where was the batter at the time of the pitch? The batter was at home. So he gets 2 bases. He gets first and he gets second, right? So the batter would be awarded second base. The runner, where was he at the time of the pitch? The runner's at first base. So he would get 2 bases from the time of the pitch. He would get second and he would get third, all right? So that's a play that we see happen often. Man on first, batter up, ground rule double. The batter gets second, the runner gets third because it's 2 bases from the time of the pitch. Or let's say that there's nobody on base. We've got a ground ball to short. The ground ball to shortstop. He throws it over the first baseman's head and goes out of play. All right. Where was the batter when the pitcher started his motion? He was at home. He gets 2 bases from time of the pitch. He gets first and he gets second. So the batter would be at second. Okay, so that's your 2 bases. If we had a runner at second base on that play, on a ground ball to short, he would have got third and home. So 80% of the time, it's 2 bases from the time of the pitch. Well, the other percentage of the time, it's 2 bases from time of the play. And this is where I think we can get an advantage on people. I think most people know they always say 1 base and overthrow or 1+1, but technically it's 2 bases from time of the pitch. But if we understand 2 bases from time of the play, it can really put us in an advantageous situation, okay? So let's look at this. So any ball hit to the outfield is 2 bases from the time of the play. Any ball hit to the outfield. So we have left field, center field, right field, all right? let's say we got a base runner on second base. We had a fly ball to medium depth right field. Okay, as a base runner, you tag on that play. If you think he's going to catch it, or if it's a play that you tag on and you think he's going to catch it, you tag. And what we want you to do is take 3 or 4 hard steps so the right fielder thinks you're going. 3 or 4 hard steps, and then go back to second base. We're wanting the outfielder to airmail that ball out of play. Okay, so if he does, any ball to the outfield is 2 bases from time of the play. You're already at second base on the time of the play. Even though you're going back to second, if you were there at the time of the play when he released the ball, you would get third and you would get home. You don't just get 1 base, you would score on that. So any ball hit to the outfield is 2 bases from time of the play. All right. Another one, as an infielder, you got to be conscious of or wary of is you got a man on first base, okay, and this is another 2 bases from time of the play. On the second play from an infielder, so we talked about if he had a ground ball to shortstop and the shortstop throws to first, overthrows it, goes out of play, that the runner gets second. If there's a runner on base, he gets 2 bases, right? Because that's the first play from an infielder. But on the second play from an infielder, it's 2 bases from time of the play. So what does that look like? What is the second play from an infielder? Let's say we have that same situation. We have a situation with the man on first. There's a ball hit to the hole of shortstop, and maybe the batter doesn't have real good speed, but the shortstop doesn't have a shot or thinks he still has a shot at the runner going to second. He throws to second base, and the runner beats it. Runner's safe. The second baseman thinks he can still turn a double play. He tries to throw to first. He throws it, goes out of play. Well, in this situation, since the base runner arrived at second base and was called safe, that's the first play. He's at second base now. Now the second baseman tries to turn a double play. That's the second play from the infield. If he throws it away, the batter will get second, but the the base runner who was on first, who beat the throw to second, would then get home. So as a defensive player, if you don't think you've got that double play or that second play, don't rush and don't hurry and risk throwing it away, or we'll give up a run. So that'd be a situation where it's 2 bases from the time of the play on the infield when it's the second play from the infield. Yeah, it sounds pretty confusing, but if it's not. I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out during the season. We're just trying to provide you guys with some background play going in. Okay. So that's what we've talked about here. 80% of the time is 2 bases from time of the pitch, right? 20% of the time, 20% of the time, it's 2 bases from time of the play. Now, the only exception to the 2 base rule is when the pitcher makes a pitch. So if the pitcher's on the rubber, he throws a ball in the dirt, it bounces off the catcher's chest and goes in the dugout, that's the exception. That's a 1 base, okay? Or if the pitcher turns and throws to first base, he doesn't step off the rubber and throws the ball out of play, that's 1 base. So if the play is from the pitcher, it's 1 base, okay? But if the pitcher steps off the rubber, he then becomes an infielder and it'd be 2 bases. But as long as he's in contact with the rubber or in front of the rubber, it's just 1 base. There's a lot there. But think about it. If you have to look at this video again, do it. Look at the previous 2 videos that we've created. They kind of focus on some base running rules, infield fly, what to do as a base runner. And we've talked about. I'm sending you guys out a quiz that kind of covers our first 3 videos. I'm anxious to see how you do on it. Feel free to refer back. Feel free to talk to your teammates. As long as you're learning, as long as you're in the process of learning, it doesn't bother me or worry me how you learn, as long as you learn it. Okay. Until I'll get this sent out, look for a Google form quiz to show up in your email. And after a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, I'll send out another one, another video with some accompanying little work. All right. Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk soon.